Welcome to another episode of Microbrew Gamers, where we review a craft brew and a game for your enjoyment. On today's episode, we're going to take a look at a Belgian white beer from Allagash, the Allagash White. And for a game, we're going to take a peek at Idea Factory and Compile Hearts Dark Rose Valkyrie for the PS4. Alright, so first the beer. Allagash is a nice little craft brewing company out of Portland, Maine, so relatively local. And they made this little gem, the Allagash White, the Belgian white beer. Now, it's got about 5.1% of alcohol by volume, and it's on the sweeter end, so it's definitely a, typical wheat beer. But what's good about it, it doesn't strike me quite as sweet as a lot of the wheat beers. But it's not bitter either. It's not hoppy. They added some spices to it. They added some coriander and some orange peel, some exotic orange peel, and it tastes really like crisp and refreshing. It really, besides the picture of the front, it really reminds me of fall. The crisp, chilled taste to it really reminds me of fall, and I like that. Fall's definitely a season I like. And it tastes really good. I mean, they hit it on it's crisp, it's clear, does not have an overpowering taste, and certainly does not have a lingering, powerful aftertaste. So it's just a very nice, refreshing beer. I happen to think it goes great with some steak and some veggies for this time of year. Loving this beer. It's got about 5.1% alcohol by volume, so it's not, it's not too rough. It's not too alcoholic. And it's not like a drinking water either. So it's a nice little run-of-the-mill chilling out beer. So I was happy to find them. Allagash is a fantastic brewing company. I got turned on to them not too long ago and don't regret it. So I highly recommend it. This beer, before you pour it, you want to gently rouse the beer, which basically means just stir it up, shake it up a little bit before you pour it, because the sediment, the yeast tends to settle to the bottom. And when you purchase it, you typically want to use it, consume it within about 6 months before. Because if you have it sitting around for about 6 months, it's going to skunk. You don't want that. And I can't imagine leaving a beer like this around for 6 months anyways, but... so I said it's on the sweeter side. I don't know about the IBUs. They cannot be high. Because, like I said, it's a German wheat beer. But I looked up the company's website and everything else, and I couldn't find anything about the IBUs. So, not sure about that one. But I absolutely recommend this one. It is fantastic. I always support your local craft breweries, because... this day and age is great with all these craft breweries. I've just been reminded of my days stationed in Germany with all these little craft breweries that are really good. I don't like a lot of the run-of-the-mill national Pilsner-style beers, so... that is definitely a gem. Now, the game, Dark Rose Valkyrie, was just released about June 6th this year, so a couple months ago, so relatively recent RPG. By Idea Factory and Compile Heart. They're typically the ones that bring a lot of the JRPGs over to this country. Translate them and bring them over. It's not a bad RPG. It's actually pretty decent. High playability, really good overall. But not, the storyline's good. It's not like amazing or earth-shattering. Basically, you play as like a lieutenant or, that takes control of a little paramilitary force in Japan. Basically, a meteor struck the Earth carrying some sort of weird virus that mutates people and animals to these monsters, chimera, and you're supposed to try to contain it to prevent the further contamination of the human race, So basically, you go around and kill those off, and the animals that you defeat as chimera will return to normal animals and run off. But basically, in this. It's a turn-style RPG, but the battle system has where you have a few active things where you can pay a few points, speed them up a little bit. Nice little animation, everything else. It's got plenty of skills. You can actually do your own skills and kind of guide where you want your characters to be and what strengths and weaknesses you want them to have, which is cool. So you can choose kind of the pathway for the characters. The artwork I like. The sound is pretty good at the sound effects and the music. There is definitely one point that I don't like about it with the sound, and that is the heavy breathing of the characters every time they run 10 feet anywhere. They start breathing like a really out of shape dude trying to run a triathlon. It sounds more out of breath and more out of shape than I am now. It gets to be a little bit annoying and distracting, but with the storyline, it's cool. Like I said, the with the meteor hits, spreads that virus. You're supposed to contain it, but you're specially equipped with these special weapons and a gear, and you're altered, which can actually lead to possible side effects like losing your sanity, split personality, so they can kind of erode your being as well. So that's pretty neat, and it's got high replayability. I'm not going to ruin the whole storyline for anybody with any spoilers. Battle system's pretty cool. I said you can just fight. You have 3 different attacks. Then you've got your kind of your special skills that you can use. And then of course you can also do the little almost like little limit break. If you keep attacking, you bust through their guard and wipe them. You can keep attacking and get even better items that you sometimes can only get if you really go past the guard in the HP. So it's not a bad one. It's rated teen in the ERSB. So pretty much you can play it in front of just almost anybody. Also supports remote play, and it is one player, but it's overall not a bad RPG. I recommend if you really dig RPGs, I recommend getting it, playing it through. It's a bit of fun. If you're I only want to play an RPG if it's super good, I'd say you can pass this one up and not be missing out on anything big. But overall, solid RPG, high replayability. Let's take a look at some of that game capture. Unfortunately, some of this game capture will be a little bit more from the beginning of the game. I had a little crash and lost my game footage, so we're going to take a look at it kind of in the beginning and take a look and see how that goes. You'll kind of get a feel for the battle system, the artwork, and everything else. So let's go ahead and take a look at that. All right, we're diving into Dark Rose Valkyrie. Now, this game, when you start off, we're going to continue from a started file I already have. But you can choose from easy, hard, or very hard. I usually choose from hard just to start off. But you get those choices, which is nice. You also get asked a few questions about what type of person you are, just, I guess, for the storyline later on, for your gameplay style. And then you'll crack into a little startup thing in the beginning, kind of how your character arrives to become the next lieutenant, basically in charge of this little team, the Valkyrie Force here. So this is the overworld map. What you're missing out on is of course, the constant heavy breathing, which is distracting and obnoxious. Other than that, the sound effects and music is nice. Other than this obnoxious heavy breathing, I think they should have gotten rid of, or at least paced out much further away. So the graphics aren't spectacular, but they're all right. You're gonna hop in here, go to your home base. You got a couple floors where you can heal your party, do your job, talk to your people, develop stuff, repair your items, get new items. Take missions. Of course, a big part of this game is missions. They help progress the storyline. So you have basically ready to report on a mission right now that I just completed, and got a couple more to complete. So that's pretty much a big part of the game is doing these missions around the city and surrounding countryside, which is primarily killing off the Chimera, which are the monsters created from people and animals that got infected by that virus delivered by that big meteor that hit the Earth in the storyline. So you basically have to try to contain them so that doesn't continue to spread. That Hibiki Park, that little sword means that's where I can go to continue to find the items I need to finish my mission. But we're just going to grab a area and I'll go running around and show you a battle. That little green thing in the corner right there was a little point where you can just go back from where you can travel between points that you've visited within this world map. And then the big blue S is a save point, which we haven't come across. It's actually back over to the left right there. We'll go ahead and battle these creatures right here and get a feel for the battle system. First off, you got your party. Their weapons are huge. Typical anime. And on the left, you see this bar with your people and the monsters. Little pictures there going upwards towards that empty little spot in the middle. And that's pretty much who gets to fight next. You can speed it up a bit by hitting R1, or you can speed up the battle, but that's pretty much the turns and who goes next. You can attack. There's actually 3 different levels of attacks when you attack. Then you can charge to power up for the next attack. And then you can do arts, which is kind of like magic/tech things. Use your AP points down there in blue for that. Of course, HP. And as you're beating up the monsters, you notice they have a green guard bar. And then, of course, the life bar, which is the orangey red one above. The guard basically is kind of like their defense, their toughness. So once you beat that down, and you'll go to a guard break, and if you can wipe out their life, uh, you can get better items, and some items you can only get like that. So you really kind of want to strive to really do pretty much an overkill on the enemy. So you can withdraw, run away. You got your items. Ignition's kind of like almost like when you were the Final Fantasy, you had the limit breaks. So you can do that ignition style thing. So you got several different types. You got melee attacks, special melee attacks. You've got your ranged, basically gun attacks. You can recover and do support magic, whatever, or tech. So like I said, the little animations are not bad. Graphics are decent, not spectacular, not something earth shattering. So it's just pretty much a good JRPG, a good standard JRPG. So here's some more of the flare drives and little examples of how you could go through and beat them up. That one's now without guard. If you basically knock down, it only has a little bit of life left. It'll go into like a berserk mode and it can do a nasty attack. Animals typically, the monsters typically just be on attack and everything else. So we're gonna just kind of finish off some of these. And the other thing is your equipment. You have to repair your armor, and you can develop new equipment, new items. But if you notice, oh, I got hit. I did not repair his equipment before, so it breaks down. So your equipment does break down, and you have to kind of spend the money points to repair it. So that's what happens. And now his defense is going to suck, and he's going to take a lot more damage. And she gets the same thing. So the battle system is not completely active, but not like basically the monsters can still attack, but it's still turn-based. So it's a good standard RPG. I would say I'd give this a solid B. For real big collectors, I definitely should pick up. For anybody else, you can skip it. There's better RPGs out there to get. But overall, still a fun one. I enjoy playing it. Well, that was a fun little bit of game. One of the interesting things I would have to say is that about the Dark Rose Valkyrie is it does have a little bit of fan service. The game, some of the characters are a little bit, hit on your main character. Oh, he's got some sort of power or whatever. They hint at him being a little bit more than meets the eye. So there is a little bit of that stereotypical stuff in there. But overall, a lot of fun. Battle system's neat. You get to grow your characters at their own rate, your own decision, which, whether it be strength, stamina, and all that stuff, where you can choose how you grow your characters, which is nice. The beers are great. Yeah. Starting to pound through some of these. So this is really good. Overall, a pretty decent RPG. Great beers, so that was a good thing to go through. I would recommend, like I said, Dark Rose Valkyrie to people that really like RPGs. If you're not a big RPG person, you're not missing much. So, take it as you will. I would say I'd give it a good, good B rating. So you all have a great night. Prost.